Hi there, Jerrel here. It's good to see you. In this video, I want to share with you a little bit of my adventures. I'll be sharing some stories from going on road trips and adventuring. People often ask me about the inspiration for my games, particularly the Silver Falls games. People ask where I get the inspirations for those. Do I get it from other games or anything like that? And the short answer is no, I don't get any inspiration from other games for my Silver Falls games. I specifically try to focus the inspiration for those games from my real life adventures, going around, hopping in a car, whether I am alone or with friends, going on adventures and exploring these little back roads and highways and hanging out in little towns and in mountain wilderness areas, meeting people, talking at campsites, hanging out at saloons like the one that you see here. So with this story today, I'll be talking about a place in California on State Route 108 called Strawberry, California, and I'll probably be posting some pictures and videos during the video as well. So this is a good buddy of mine, Ike. He's a Vietnam War vet. We met years and years ago in a saloon in California where we got along, we had some things in common, and we decided, hey man, we've got to be adventure buddies. We got to go on adventures and road trips. So I don't live in California anymore. I live in Australia, but I do get back to California as often as I can so I can go on adventures and spend time with friends that I have there. And I've met many people, and I've made lifelong friends over the years and hanging out in saloons and campsites and places like this. And I'll share some of those stories with you today. So this trip, this was a few years, no, this was last year. This is last year. Ike and I we hopped in his Jeep Rubicon, and we were heading up 49 to 108, and we passed by Twain Harte, which is a beautiful little town. If you get a chance, stop by there. There's places to grab a bite, you can get a coffee. And Twain Harte is gorgeous. And as you keep going up the mountain, you will eventually come across Strawberry. Strawberry is very small. You'll see a general shop there where you can grab some food, get yourself some drinks. And across the street, you'll see a little place that does pizza. They do some other food as well, but I mean, come on, we're here for the pizza, aren't we? And they do drinks as well. You can see there's a bar just here. They've got a pool table. They've got some nice dining tables here. You've got a nice view of the outside, which you can't see in the photo. So this is a photo that I took last year. And when Ike and I were passing through Strawberry, we stopped by the general store just to pick up some snacks and get something, some drinks. And there was live music going on. There was a guy there. I think I wrote down a diary for this. I forgot the guy's name. But he was playing a live music set, which was very good. He was great. And the crowd was there, and we were just sitting and we were listening to this guy. We were hanging out for a little while. And it was such a great environment. You can look from the photos here. This isn't anything that we planned or expected, but that's the whole point of going on an adventure, is you hop in your car, you drive, and what happens, happens. And sometimes really cool stuff happens. So we stopped in Strawberry for a break. We're listening to this guy play his music. And a crowd builds up. The crowd gets pretty big, and there would be some locals, and also there are passers-by, travelers and adventurers like Ike and I. And this guy is playing music. He takes a break, and the crowd sort of starts cooling. And that's pretty tough. If you are performing and then you take a break and you stop and the crowd cools down, it's kind of difficult to warm them up again, to get them prepped up. So the guy that was playing up on the stage, he stepped off to the side and I said to him, "Oh, hey man, it kind of seems like the crowd's sort of cooling a little bit." And I said, "I've got a fiddle in my car. Do you want me to hop up on stage and just keep them warmed up for you?" And the guy said, "Yeah, sure, that would be great." So the guy's taking a half an hour break. I grabbed my fiddle out of the car. This wasn't planned or anything like that. And I hop up on the stage, and people just assume that I was part of his whole sort of situation. And so I'm playing old-time fiddle tunes and whatnot. People are enjoying it, and the guy starts walking up, from the sides, and I'm up there playing. And I can see a worried look on his face, because he's kind of thinking, oh, shoot, how am I supposed to stop this guy now from playing? But as an event organizer, as a public speaker, I obviously can recognize the situation that he's coming up. And so I cut my set short. And I said, you know, I'm getting the audience ramped up for it. And I'm getting them geared up. People were enjoying the tunes, and I was getting them fired up. And, you know, I said, give it up for, you know, so-and-so, a big round of applause. Thanks for listening to the fiddle, you know, and this guy's coming back to the stage. And they were really fired up. And the guy came up to me, you know, he hopped back on stage, and he was starry-eyed. And he was like, whoa, thanks, man, you know. And so I got everyone fired up, and he was able to hop into a set. And he had that energy going for him already, because you have momentum with a crowd. That's something that is so important that you have to understand. So when it comes to working with a crowd, you have momentum, and you either lose it or you can keep building it up. So he was pretty grateful that I got the crowd fired up for him, you know, while he was taking his half-hour break. And I think the guy overall played 3 or 4 hours, something like that. So Ike and I hop back into his Jeep. We drive a bit more up the mountain, and we go off-roading a little bit. And we explore and we look around, and, you know, we found some really beautiful sights, as you can see from the photos. And it was just so relaxing. You could smell the fresh air, and it was really wonderful. So a little bit later, we head back down to Strawberry. The guy had finished his set. So we head over to this place, which is across the street from where the guy was playing music. And we're hanging out, chatting with the locals. And Ike and I think, at some point, we probably ordered a pizza. I think we ordered a pizza. And we had a couple drinks. And I noticed this fella was playing pool. There were some other, you know, patrons, and he was playing pool with. And at some point I said, hey, can I play a game of pool with you? And he said, yeah, sure, yeah. And I thought he looked to be around Ike's age, you know, mid to late 70s. So we played a couple games of pool, just chatting a little bit. And then I noticed there was a fella sitting over here. So we're hanging out, you know, milling around, having a pizza and whatnot. There's a fella sitting here, and I see him sitting for about, you know, 10 minutes. And I go over to the guy, and I say, oh, hey, how's it going? What's wrong? You know, I can see a look on his face. And he says, well, I've been waiting for the bartender. She's down at the other end of the bar, and I just want to order a drink, but I think I'm going to leave. I can't get her attention. I said, hold on, I got it. And I walked over to the other far end of the bar, where the bartender was sort of chatting with people over there. And I flagged her down, and I said, I'm sorry, there's a guy sitting over at the other end of the bar. He's been waiting for a while to order a drink. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see him, you know. So she came back, she took his order for a drink, and the guy's looking at me, you know, kind of, oh, wow, thanks, man, that was really, you know, that was really cool, appreciate that. So we got to chatting. So the guy's sitting here, his name is Larry. So now we're chatting, we're hanging out, we're chatting with Paul. This guy's name is Paul, we're hanging out. And the night's wearing on, and eventually, at some point, we sort of get on the topic of music, and we're chatting a little bit about music. And I mentioned that, hey, I've got a fiddle and I've got an auto harp in the car, you know. And Paul says, oh, hey, I'm actually classically trained singer, you know. I can properly sing. And then Larry over here says, oh, actually, I've got a guitar in the car. You know, and so I went to the bartender and I said, hey, is it all right if we bring in a guitar and just sing a couple tunes? And she said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I go to the car, I grab my auto harp, Larry grabs his guitar, which I'm pretty sure I'm recalling as an Ovation. And Larry grabs his guitar. Paul's looking pretty excited, and Ike, you know, Ike loves going to karaoke. Any chance Ike gets, you know, he'll say, oh, you know, there's one of the bars in town is doing karaoke. You want to go with me? Of course I'm going to say yes. You know, that's my buddy Ike. Anything he wants to do, I'm happy to go with him and go on an adventure with him. So we're playing old classic tunes. Now, what's an important skill to keep in mind is you need to gauge your audience. You need to look around, and you need to see what the age that your audience... I can generally judge by people's age and their clothes what kind of music they like listening to. I carry around a songbook. So I know, okay, look, if there's an audience, you know, I can play certain songs for them. But there were people that are around my age and a little bit younger as well, that were sitting, you know, for sort of on that side of the bar as well, and they were still drinking as well. So I'm playing old-time tunes, you know, Take Me Home, Country Roads, and other songs of that era, Creedence Clearwater and Eagles, stuff that people can sing along to. It's important to play things that people can sing along to. And we're just having a great time. And Ike and I, you know, we always love going on adventures, and he's singing along, and Larry's playing along. You tend to find musicians who can listen to what you're playing, and if they recognize your songs, they probably know the chords off the top of their head. So they'll play and they'll sing along, and Paul sing along, and we're just having the greatest time. Like, this is, you know, we didn't plan this, we didn't expect it, but here we are, and we're sort of like arms around each other, and we're like, yeah, man, all right, let's do another song, let's do another song. And now the bartender's having a great time because the people, the other patrons, are now listening to the music, and they're ordering more drinks, they're singing along, they're having a great time. And because I saw people that were sort of similar to my age, I played a couple songs, like played a Green Day song, you know, like some Green Day songs that you can do acoustically that sound pretty nice. I hope you had the time of your life. I did an acoustic, slower version of Take On Me, you know, the 80s song. And you do that, and just people, you know, they sort of look and they go starry-eyed, like, oh wow, I've never heard a slow acoustic version of this. This is really nice. And so they thanked me, you know, like, oh wow, I really like those songs. So, you know, we were just hanging out, you know, and I think we wrapped up around 11:30 or so, and so we're standing out front of the bar, and I thought we took a photo. I'm pretty sure we all took a photo together, but I can't seem to find it. But, you know, and we're all, you know, we're so excited, and Larry's kind of saying, like, man, this was so great. You know, we've got to do this again. The four of us have to catch up again, you know. And he had such a great time. I was saying, you know, I'd like that, you know. And we exchanged phone numbers, and we were saying, like, the next chance we get, we've all got to catch up again. And I just feel so bad because I don't live in California. And if I did, I would be doing adventuring. I'd be doing this all the time. I'd be hanging out at places like this all the time, adventuring, meeting people, playing songs, playing the music that people want to hear, the music that people love, music that people can sing along to and get engaged. And Larry said, oh man, I can't wait for the next time the four of us can get together and play songs. And now Paul is a Vietnam War vet, and you get to talk to people. You hear about their lives and you hear about their stories. He's worked on an oil rig. He lives in a caravan somewhere. Chinese camp. Yes, I'm remembering it just now, just thinking about it. He said Chinese camp. He lives in a caravan there. And he was saying, oh, I learned how to play violin when I was young. And, you know, I haven't played in years, but I let him try my violin. He was like, oh, I can still kind of do it. So what I personally really want to do the next time, and I really want to get back to California as soon as I can to see some friends, to check in on some people and spend time with some people. But what I really want to do is buy a violin and then get a hold of Paul. I've got his number. I'll call him. I'll see where he is. We'll catch up again. And I want to give him a violin so that he can just have that for him and he can play that. That's something that he can do for himself. Because he seemed to really get a kick out of trying my violin. So that's something I really want to do when I get back to California next. And, you know, Larry was saying, I really want to go desert camping, but I'm kind of worried because I don't want to go alone. I only have, you know, my vehicle. And, you know, you ideally need multiple vehicles in case something goes wrong. And, you know, saying, hey, you know, we've got Ike's Jeep Rubicon, maybe we can go. So we were sort of planning that. And the whole point of all of this story, you know, going together is this is where I get the inspiration for my Silver Falls games. Not just that, but for my games in general, I don't look at other games to copy them and say, oh, that game was popular or this thing was popular that year, I'll copy it and then, you know, that'll make my game sell well. That's something that AAA studios do because they can't afford to take creative risks, and it's very much designed by committee when it comes to the vast majority of AAA game development. Whereas when you are a smaller developer, a smaller team, or a medium-sized team, or an independent solo developer, it is really up to you to give people something creative and interesting. And in order to do that, you have to have life experiences. There's no two ways around it. If you are sitting on Twitter all day long, or whatever social media, if you're sitting at home, you will not gain any life experiences. You have to go out and live your life. One thing that people always tell me in DMs and in comments, and especially in the Discord, people say, man, the Silver Falls games are so interesting. The stories are so interesting. The characters are so interesting. This is why. This is why my games are so interesting, is I go out on real adventures and I just meet people and I talk to people who are different from me, who have different life views, different life experiences. I listen to their experiences and their lives, and I go on adventures and I hang out with those people and I keep in touch. And the next time I go back to California, you know that I'll be catching up with these guys again. We'll be going on more adventures. We'll be singing more songs and playing more music. But the whole point is not to just, something happened to me in real life, I'll copy and paste it and put it into a game. That's not what it's about. It's about experiencing and learning and seeing the world and translating those feelings into an experience in a game and giving people an experience, giving players a feeling. One thing, for example, that I've planned for my upcoming games, and this is a very clear example of taking a real-life experience, a life feeling, and translating that into gameplay mechanics that are interesting. One of my upcoming games, I'll be using a mechanic that I thought up while hiking. And while I was hiking and adventuring around, I was trying to open my granola bar, and I'm walking, and it's taking me longer than expected. I'm kind of thinking, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so bad at opening this granola bar wrapper today? And I thought it would be so funny and also very interesting if there was a video game mechanic where in order for characters to use items, they actually have to open the packaging. So you select your item, and then there's a little meter that appears that says packaging, and it actually has to fill. And certain characters are better at opening packaging than others. And other characters, maybe they're very good at battling, they have very good attack power, but they're actually really bad at opening packaging. So when it comes to using items, certain characters are bad at it, which means that maybe you should let certain characters do the attacking, and other characters are better at opening packaging, so you should let those characters use the items so it saves time for the stronger characters. And that's an example of taking a real-life experience, your lived adventure, and bringing that, translating that feeling, translating the logic into a video game setting and a video game experience. This is the real way, this is the only way to create interesting new experiences for people in video games. It doesn't matter if you hire the most diverse people who fill the most checkboxes. It doesn't matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars you throw at a video game development. If the people that are working on your game do not have interesting life experiences, they will not be able to create interesting experiences for people in their video games. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you enjoyed the pictures and the stories that I've shared with you. I am going to be working my absolute hardest. I'll be returning to 120-hour work weeks now. I've been doing a fair amount of body conditioning. I'm in very good shape right now. I can handle 120-hour work weeks for a while, so I'll be going back to that workload to finish my upcoming games. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're looking forward to my upcoming games. I'll put some links in the description if you would like to hear some of my music for free. I have 2 soundtracks that you can listen to totally for free. I'll also put some links in for my Silver Falls games that you can play for free. There's a number of Silver Falls games that you can play totally for free, and the reason why that's possible and why there's so many is that people contribute with Patreon and supers. That allows me to step away from my commercial work, and then I can spend time working on my free games, and that is also my way to thank you guys for your support. Thank you for the supers, for the Patreons. Thank you for supporting my commercial titles. I'm working on bringing Clasher Ball, which is my latest game. I'm working on bringing that to Steam. I've caught on a snag over the past couple days because this is my first Steam release, and I'm still figuring out how to configure it for the Steam platform. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for enjoying the video. I hope this was fun. Okay, I'll see you around. Take care.